Analysts and experts are saying that the housing market could be headed towards a crash, and it's because of this number one warning sign that they are looking at. So this video, we're going to talk about the housing market and what that number one warning is that these experts are looking at. And could it potentially lead to a crash? I see where they're going with it, but it may not happen. Although it could, you never know. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into it to see, are we headed towards a crash, or is it still just a correction? Let's get started. As we know, the housing market across this country has definitely shifted, and it is leaning more towards a buyer's market. However, experts are getting a little nervous because this one thing is what happened right before the housing market crashed during the great financial crisis back in 2008. Okay, so what is it? It's the increase in the month's supply of housing, and especially with new construction homes. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, month's supply in housing means the amount of time it takes for all the homes that are on the market without any new homes coming onto the market, all the existing homes, how long does it take for those homes to sell? Recent reports showed that existing homes, the month supply has increased to 4.7 months. So it's going to take 4.7 months for all of that inventory to be sold. New construction, the month supply is up to 9.8 months. That's a really long time, and that's a pretty big jump. So this is the indicator that they're nervous about, because when that's not doing well, that's going to impact the pricing on the existing homes. So what do I mean by that? Let's get into that right now. What's happening now is these home builders are taking drastic measures to offload the inventory that they have. Lennar announced recently that they are taking measures because their numbers are down by 22% this year. Now they're taking drastic measures and offering price cuts, crazy incentives, and whatever they need to do to offer to people to get people to buy their homes. Now, why is this a big deal? It is a big deal because it does eventually impact the sale of existing homes. So think about it. So if you're in a market for a home and the new home builder is offering $20,000 towards your closing costs, they're going to offer, say, a rate buy down, right? You can reduce your mortgage interest rate, or, they'll offer free upgrades in the home. And then you have the existing home over here that it's not brand new, it's not shiny and all the new things and all that. And the home seller is not going to be offering you any incentives. They're not. So where do you think they're going to go? They're going to go to the new construction. This could be a potential problem, right? Now they're going to be lowering all the prices. They're going to undercut the existing homes, therefore to be bringing down the overall market values down. So while we're talking about inventory, another thing that experts are concerned about, not just in new home construction, but the lock-in effect on people who have mortgage rates currently at below 4%. That's weakening right now, meaning that people are fed up with waiting for mortgage rates to come down, and they need to sell their homes. So what are they doing? They're going to put their home on the market, adding more to the inventory. But here's the problem right now. The buyer demand has waned a lot, right? People are just fed up and they don't want to pay these high interest rates. Although, 6%, between 6% and 7%, that's more of a normal mortgage interest rate. But, when you've had interest rates below 4% for so many years, people are fed up with that. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to pay a high mortgage payment. So they're waiting for those rates to come down. They're not quick to jump on a house right now. So this is why they look at this indicator, because could it be catastrophic? It could be. But other experts are saying, no, it will not be catastrophic. And this is why. I found this article from Fortune, and it's quoting this guy called Lance Lambert, who's from Resi Club. Lambert says he noted that the inventory picture varies significantly from across the country. And, we all know that, right? So the South, Sun Belt, they're totally in a buyer's market, whereas up here in the Northeast, Midwest, still in that seller's market because of limited inventory, because the majority of the newer homes are being built down south. So Lance Lambert was quoted saying that he noted that the inventory picture varies significantly across the country. So, for example, it remains most limited across notable sections of the Midwest and Northeast, although still growing. On the other hand, active inventory has neared or surpass pre-pandemic 2019 levels in many parts of the Sun Belt and Mountain West. And he said that is where home buyers have gained the most leverage. The trend comes as the Federal Reserve has begun trimming interest rates in an effort to support a broader economic growth and housing affordability. Whether those cuts will be enough to reignite demand remains an open question. For now, he's saying the data signals a market in transition. All right. So we have a high inventory, moderating prices, and builders are caught between a cautious consumer and the need to manage supply. Hey, if you're not letting any of this news worry you and you still want to buy a house, or even if you want to sell a house and you need an agent in your market, I can absolutely help you out with that. Please scan this QR code or click the link down below, fill out the forms, and I will get back to you with an agent in your market. If you are looking to sell or buy here in Northern New Jersey and you'd like to work with myself and my team, there's another link down below. Please click on that, fill out the form, and I will happily set up a Zoom consultation call with you. So this is what we're dealing with right now with the home builders, and this is why they're a little nervous about this. But is it going to crash? I don't think it's going to crash. It's going to be a big correction, but this is something that people are going to be keeping their eye on. So what are some other things that we should be looking at, some indicators that, there's a shift going on in the market? So if you see a rise in homes, a rise of inventory, and then you start seeing the price cuts, oh, that's a problem. That's the first thing I look at. When I'm looking at homes on the market for my clients, I'm seeing a big rise in days on market here in New Jersey. So another thing we're looking at is the buyer sentiment. How is the buyer feeling right now? Are they willing to pay that price? Are they willing to pay that price with these interest rates still hovering around 6%? They may not be. I know a lot of people are still hesitant. People I've been working with, they're very nervous about these higher rates. And the big indicator, like I said before, we watch these new builders, watch how they're responding to it and how much they're going to be cutting their prices and the types of incentives they're going to be offering to people, because that is what could potentially hurt those who have existing homes. They're not going to get the prices they could have gotten 4 years ago, 5 years ago. That's not happening. So I'm a perfect example of this. I'm about to put a property on the market in the next couple of months where it's in a state where there's a lot of new construction. And I'm seeing it firsthand. Every time I go visit the area, I'm seeing incentive after incentive being offered for people to buy these houses up. So what is that going to do for me? It's going to impact my price. Now, am I going to sell it for what I paid for like 3-4 years ago? I'm hoping I can break even at this point. I'm being very realistic about it with the realtor I'm using in this area because I'm seeing it. So sellers, if you have to go on the market, you have to sell your home. You have to listen to your real estate agent. This is just a reality we're in right now. And I feel for people that you bought these homes for way higher than you wanted to 4 or 5 years ago. And in certain markets, people are getting underwater in their mortgage. You told me talk about this. Nevada is the perfect example. A lot of people flocked there during the pandemic. Now, a lot of people are leaving. The economy's not doing great there. The gambling industry has taken a big hit, and a lot of retirees are looking to get out of there. So there's a big rise in inventory. Plus, they still have a lot of new construction. And I've been hearing this from agents out in that area and other parts in that area in the country that people are literally underwater in their mortgage. And it's really sad. It's really sad to hear that. But look, this is where we're at right now. And I really hope that this is more of a correction. I think it is going to be more of a correction. I don't think it's going to be a crash. A lot of you are hoping for these prices to come crashing down 20 to 30%. I don't think that's going to happen. And let's not hope that happens, because that could lead to other things, other problems. And we don't want to be dealing with that. So I hope you found this helpful today. If you want to get more information about what's going on in the housing market, you can go look over here. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.